Support for the Leadoff on WGLT and WGLT.org comes from the Central Illinois Regional Airport, offering one stop to worldwide destinations from Central Illinois with daily flights on American Airlines to hubs in Dallas and Chicago. Close, convenient, CIRA. More at CIRA.com.
Rivian is building its own powerful AI chips for autonomous driving. That's one of the things you need to know to start your day for Friday, December 12th. I'm Ryan Denham, and this is WGLT's The Leadoff. Now let's lead off with the electric automaker Rivian, unveiling new technology it hopes will put it at the forefront of self-driving vehicles. WGLT's Charlie Schlenker has more.
Rivian is making the case it is ready to catch up with and surpass Tesla in self-driving vehicle technology. At a company event, Senior Vice President of Electrical Hardware Vijay Rajagopalan said vehicles made in Normal will have multiple cameras like most competitors. She says they will also have 5 radars and LiDAR to help in rotten weather and at night.
That third-gen autonomy hardware system is capable of processing 5 billion pixels per second of sensor data.
Rajagopalan says another difference maker is Rivian has built its own computer chips and software, which will make Rivian quick to improve and adjust AI driving. Most autonomous vehicle companies have what are called ground truthing vehicles to teach their AIs better and safer driving. Rivian Autonomy and AI Vice President James Philbin says Rivian's system is better.
But because they're prototypes, these fleets are typically small, numbering in the tens to 100s. In contrast, for the LiDAR-equipped R2, every vehicle will become a ground truthing vehicle. That's orders of magnitude more data.
The company says its AI opens opportunities in the ride-sharing sector. Here's Chief Software Officer Wasim Ben Saeed.
The gap between software-defined vehicles and traditional architectures is getting exponentially wider with AI.
Rivian hands-free technology had been good for point-to-point trips on only about 100,000 miles of road. With the new systems, that goes up to pretty much anywhere there's a painted line and signage. For the Leadoff, I'm Charlie Schlenker.
Here are some other stories we're following in the WGLT newsroom. Residents on Normal's north and west sides have a new representative on the McLean County Board. Democrat William Bessler was appointed to the District 4 seat following Crystal Abel's resignation. ISU Athletics is hosting a send-off for the Redbird football team this morning at 9:45 at Hancock Stadium. They head to California to continue a playoff run after last weekend's upset at North Dakota State. And the Western Illinois University Board has authorized the administration to borrow up to $2 million from the institution's foundation to fund university operations. The administration has not decided whether that action will be necessary. You can find more on these stories at WGLT.org. The City of Bloomington's Police Accountability Panel took 4 months to resolve its most recent complaint against the department. That decision was slowed by the group's inability to meet regularly, and now it's considering meeting even less often. WGLT's Lauren Warnicki has more.
The Public Safety and Community Relations Board, or PSCRB, says officers acted appropriately in declining to arrest the perpetrator of an alleged battery last May. It was the board's first complaint in 2 years. Assistant Police Chief Chad Wamsley says he took a, quote, unprecedented step, asking the state's attorney's office to review the case.
My goal was to present this in August so that we could have a resolution. But unfortunately, we've had to delay this for a multitude of reasons for several months. So as it lingered on, I kept hearing every meeting of additional complaints, potential additional evidence. So I wanted to make sure that we uncovered everything that was presented to us.
The state's attorney says there was insufficient evidence for criminal charges. Board member Ashley Farmer says the public often misunderstands the board's role, which is narrow in scope. The PSCRB determines whether police policies and procedures were followed during the investigation of a citizen's complaint to the department. It has no oversight or disciplinary power. But Farmer says the public looks to them for validation when they feel wronged.
It's not uncommon, I don't think, for people who encounter the police for whatever reason, in this case, a verbal argument at a gas station, right? To feel like they were victims and then there's no charges that come about from it. And so then they feel like justice hasn't been served.
While the board backed officers' handling of the matter, they made a separate recommendation that officer training include skill building for communicating officer discretion to both suspects and victims. Walmsley asked the board to add the words, when applicable.
A lot of times when these happen, it's in the heat of the moment. People are upset, they're angry, they're not sometimes even being rational, to be quite honest. So trying to explain that to them to where they understand it, a lot of times we're not going to be able to calm them down at that point.
Part of the reason for the delay in ruling on the complaint is the Public Safety and Community Relations Board has struggled with attendance and public engagement. It's considering a change from monthly to quarterly meetings.
I'm opposed to this motion.
That's founding member Art Taylor.
This board was put in place to be available to the community at any given time to discuss any issues with the police, policies and procedures that need to be changed, give people opportunities for public comment on a regular basis.
Youth member Giselle Lee says the board's afternoon meeting time is the greater barrier than frequency. Chair Rachel McFarland pointed to topical meetings as resonating more with the community, noting strong participation from the public when they gathered law enforcement after the fatal shooting of Sonia Massey by former Sangamon County Sheriff's Deputy Sean Grayson. Member Ashley Farmer says meeting less frequently may hurt, not help, the board's ability to get regular quorums. And board member Ty Smith says communication is the primary challenge to getting public support.
Most of the world is online, so I didn't know if there was some sort of way to where if this particular board had a I don't know if we can even do that, like a Facebook page where we would just only post that we were going to have these meetings and these would be the topics, and by this being a way of spreading this out to ISU students or whatever like that might be interested in coming to something like this.
Youth PSCRB member Giselle Lee agreed with the idea to develop a social media presence.
Not only will we get more attendance, but we'll get more people kind of connected with what's going on, so they feel the need, or they understand why they should be here.
Members did not decide whether to move to quarterly meetings only. They hope to hear public feedback before making a decision at the next quarterly meeting next spring. I'm Lauren Warnicki.
And that is it for today. I'm Ryan Denham, and the show is produced by Lou Warner. You can subscribe to The Leadoff on the NPR app or wherever you get your podcasts.